no.
Okay.
Good afternoon and welcome to Radio Row here at Super Bowl 57 in Phoenix. This is Kayla Bradham here with Roy Kessel from Philanthropy Network. And I am excited. You've seen Chris Draft on our show last year at Radio Row. Chris and I have done a podcast together, Legacy After the Locker Room. If you follow me or you follow Chris, you know his mission is creating awareness for lung cancer. And he brought along a very special guest, Danielle Williams. Chris, why don't you introduce Danielle to us?
So Danielle is a lung cancer survivor extraordinaire here in the Arizona area or state of Arizona in the Phoenix area. I can give you, I'm trying to give a little bit of background on Danielle, but better off, let me just pass it over to Danielle. Danielle, tell them about you, who you are. You are a person, an amazing person that happens to have lung cancer. But can you tell them about the amazing before you talk about the lung cancer?
Well, thank you so much, Chris. I am so happy to be here, first and foremost. This is more than I ever expected when I was diagnosed with cancer. Who knew the journey would end up here, meeting fantastic individuals, trying to shape not only my life and get through this journey, but the lives of others going forward. And that has been my whole mission. Kill the cancer with positivity, wrap your arms around it, and show the world a different side of this horrible disease and come out on top and be your own champion and cheerleader. And that is what I literally have been doing to bring awareness, to help change minds, and help change the mindset of individuals so we can go forward and make change and have those dollars for research and ultimately have more people surviving lung cancer as non-smokers like myself. So there you go. Did I give you a little toot toot and a bang bang there?
Well, you gave me a cancer, but I know you more than that. I heard the other day that you were at a comedy club, that you were
Oh, yes, I
doing
do a
stand
lot.
up.
I do a lot of different things. Background is I used to be a former journalist, did radio, television, actually won a radio contest over 20 years ago, turned that into a career, never had a college degree. But in 2013, I decided I'm going to go get my degree after years of working in radio and television. And so from that, I immersed myself into the community. I've always loved volunteering and being a part of the community. So I started networking with nonprofits, just sharing their stories and just being a part of their missions. And I got to know a lot of different people. And then from there, just having this outgoing, infectious personality and being someone who had really no fear, I said, you know what? I think I want to give comedy a try. And someone gave me some perfect advice. He says, if you can get to where you can tell your life stories as though it's water just dripping off your tongue and do it in a way that's relatable, then you can do stand-up comedy. And so with my journalist background, I found a way to write about things that I was passionate about and put that humorous spin on it. So I did that prior to getting diagnosed with my cancer, which happened in 2018. Went through COVID, kept on pushing, and then I started getting back into it. And now my life has transformed. So I have even more stuff to talk about. And it just blossoms from there. So that's who I am. I'm in the community. I'm doing different things. I'm working my own business. I'm taking care of myself and helping out others and just pushing forward, and all with a smile on my face and trying to do it with a sense of humor because you got to laugh, right? You got to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
we appreciate that, Danielle. I think it's so great to hear the stories live and in person because we've had a few chances to sit down with Chris and we hear his energy and passion. And Kill and I often talk about the fact that that's something that's hard to fake, right? It's hard to fake
Mhm.
that energy and passion that Chris brings to the program. And everywhere we go around the country, Chris is everywhere. He's involved with so many different things, and we always talk about the fact like it'd be great if we could get some people into Chris's community and the lung cancer survivor community that share that energy and passion and really have that ability to translate it. And
Mhm.
you're certainly able to do that. So, Chris, talk a little bit about how you've got Danielle incorporated into the work that you're doing.
Well, right. Before you do that, can I just hop in 1 second? Because I think you said something critical, and that's Chris. How do you do that? I think Chris is the legend who knows the people, but I think it's the team that Chris builds that
Mhm.
carries the message. That's just like sports. That's just like being the captain of the team. The captain inspires the team to carry the ball and score that touchdown. Chris, am I wrong? Are you building a team? Are you the captain?
so I think the most important thing that you have to recognize is number one, there's no way that I can do it by myself. right? And too often they ask the question like, well, what are you doing? And I said, well, there's nothing that I can do that really will amount to really making the difference that we need if I do it by myself. And so from the beginning, it was always about team, 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 team. And so even after my wife passed, she passed December 27th, 2011. I had to ask myself, and this is team, all right? Could I accept that nothing that I did moving forward would bring my wife back, right? Now that would be selfish. If it was about just bringing her back, it's selfish. Can I be happy for somebody like Danielle right here? Can I be happy for her that this amazing woman who is living with lung cancer, going out and brightening, people's lives in a way that is not just from the cancer community, but just in her stand-up, in her reporting, in her PR, all these things that are transforming people's lives. Am I excited about that? And then the other part is, am I willing to go fight to find those people and make sure that they are able to benefit from the innovations that we have. And so I say that from the beginning, it was obvious. I went to 60 cancer centers in the first year, and somebody says, well, why would you go? Because we need boots on the ground in every community. All right. I went to find the survivors in every one of the community because we need boots on the ground in every community. And it says, you know, historically the goal is to get people to stop smoking. And a lot of our community has said that, oh, there's a problem. There's not enough research dollars. There's not. I said, well, what are we saying? What is our message? So when you have somebody like Danielle here, it's this great validator that hopefully the other survivors will listen to. And it says, did we ask for it? That we stand up and clearly say that research matters, that we give them examples of people so that they know not only that it matters, that it works, and then have we made it clear there's a place for you to give. Because if we don't, we can't blame the public for not standing. We have to look inward. We have to look at ourselves, look at our team, look at our community, and ask ourselves, are we standing up in our communities? Right? If you look at the NFL, there are 32 teams. When we look at the White Ribbon Project, you can see right here, it should be pretty obvious as we go around all the different teams and cities. The NFL teams are in our major cities. So if I say 32 as relates to the NFL, it really is 30 because there's an LA and a New York, but it really just says we need people standing up in our major cities. And it doesn't matter if I say that the research matters, if I'm the only one. If there's two of us, not just if me and Danielle say it, it'd be great. Kayla, if you said it, Roy, if you said it, that's not enough. It takes a team, a community of people to stand up and say it together if we actually want there to be change.
I love what you're saying, Chris. You and I were speaking last night at Darren Gray's Heart of a Champion event. And I told you when my mom died of cancer on March 4th, 2005, and I saw my kids this winter when they're putting up the Christmas decorations and they move that white ribbon from one place in the house out to the living room window so that with our Christmas tree lights and all of our decorations, there's a white ribbon up in there for their grandma Carol. Amen. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
That it's the message. Like, you can coach, Danielle can carry the ball. That team needs to spread to the community. It's my kids, right? Like my 8 kids, ages 24 to 8, saying we're doing this for Grandma Carol. We're not going to forget Grandma Carol.
Yeah.
I just want to tell you, Danielle, what you're doing in PR, in media, is critical, because where are my kids hearing that message? Where are my kids hearing there's somebody who didn't forget you? 4 of my kids have never met their grandma, have never met her, but there's 4 that have. And there's 4 who say we will not forget, and we will fight, and we will share that message loud and proud in Milwaukee in our living room window. That's because of you. And I'm grateful. And I'm thankful.
Thank you.
Kayla, that's why this is an inclusive movement. I mean, it is not about just our survivors. That we definitely have to rally around people like Danielle, all of our survivors. And really, as we rally around them, we want them to know that flat out, you matter. Danielle, you matter.
That's
All our
right.
survivors, you matter. And
True.
it's not just, oh, of course people matter. No, it's not of course. We have to fight to
Amen.
make sure they say it, be intentional about that. Also make sure they know that they're not alone. And that's critical. So it's not
Right.
just not alone from a family and friends perspective, but that the medical community is around and that there is hope, right? That is the message of the White Ribbon Project. And it's not one where you can just do it as one or two people. This is something that has to be bought in across the board. Heidi and Pierre, when Pierre made that first ribbon, and Heidi started giving them out as people asked for them, and people were like, "Well, how are they going to be able to get up to a whole bunch of people?" And Heidi was like, "I need to get them because I don't want anyone to feel like that they're alone." And unfortunately, there are folks that didn't see the obvious plan that was right in front. It says that the only way that it could happen, the only way that we could get ribbons to all those 235,000 people that are diagnosed in the United States was if we had a team of people that were willing to build them locally, that are willing to get them out, that care enough to be able not to just give them to the survivors, but embrace the people that are also affected by this disease, from their spouses to their family members, and then really embrace our medical community, making sure they get it. And then just let other people in because there are people that are willing to stand with us. I was up at City of, what is that, City on the Hill in Milwaukee, and they were ready to stand up. There is a church in Milwaukee. They are ready to stand up. And that doesn't mean they have a direct connection with lung cancer. We just gave them a way with the White Ribbon Project to be involved. And so to our community, allow the people in, and they'll stand with us.
Chris, I think you hit on a really important point that people often don't estimate, don't discuss. 235,000 people
Yeah.
every year that are diagnosed. Right? Think of the magnitude of that. It's, if you take a general football stadium, that's 3 full football stadiums of people every single year. And I just want to put that in context for people as we get ready for Super Bowl week and everything going out. That's an enormous undertaking. These huge sporting events that occur every week, right? People take for granted at a certain point, and they forget how much heartache and pain is going on right around the corner from what they're doing. And so, Kaylin, I really want to thank you for both for coming on and sharing your story. You're doing incredible work. We see the white ribbons all over the place. We
Thank
follow the
you.
photos.
Yeah.
And thank you both so much
I
for your time.
I have one question before we close out.
Okay.
I hope that this video inspires people to want to get involved, because that's what this is all about, right?
Right.
Growing the team. So if people want to get involved, let's just put that opportunity out there. What can everyday Americans do to make a difference?
So the
They,
White Ribbon Project, they can go to that if they want to know more about the White Ribbon Project. But I want Danielle, can you give a message in terms of,
yeah.
as this PR person, as this connector of people, really what can they do in terms of their actions more importantly?
Well, for me, I tell people follow me on Instagram. When you follow me on social media, you see me out in different places, follow my posts, show up. Come hike with me. Let's hold the ribbon. Let's make a statement so people can see it and say, what is that? And then you have an opportunity to continue the conversation. Because sometimes I'll make posts and the people who have never seen it before will start sharing it. They're inquiring. They'll say, oh my gosh, my cousin just was diagnosed. I had no idea that you were even sick because you don't even look like it. Then it starts a conversation. And I say, well, do you want a white ribbon? This is going to help you. It brings hope. It helped me. Then you make a connection and it spreads from there. It's just that little itty bitty thing of making a tie to unify us together. You can even talk to your doctor's office. When I go and I take my selfies, I take my white ribbon. When I go to get treatment, it starts a conversation even among people who are having cancer who didn't even know about the White Ribbon Project. Sometimes the doctors don't know. And they're like, well, we want to have one just to have up here. So in case somebody else, and I said, let's start a selfie chain. So when they come in to get their treatment, tell them, just take a picture with the white ribbon. Let's make it happen. It keeps the conversation going.
Yeah.
Well,
So I know we got to get off, but can I just ask
Yeah.
one more thing of Danielle? Danielle,
Yes.
if you're talking to the survivors, there are some folks that they're saying that nobody wants to hear our story, that there's a stigma, nobody really cares to hear it. I mean, what do you tell somebody that really just needs to share, and they'll be able to know that there are plenty of people that are willing to receive their story. So the courage that it takes to be able to share. Can you talk to the community right now?
Well, one thing I always tell people is that everybody has a story and everybody is affected by cancer in some way, whether it's great or small. And your story will make a connection with someone who has just been told the devastating news that they have cancer. And if you can reach out or just share something that is personal, something that is intimate, something that is nagging at you and release it, that releasing of that words that comes out of your mouth from the thoughts you have carried on releases it as a toxic waste from your body, and it generates out into the community, and those words travel and somebody hears it at the time that they need, they embrace it and they say, I am not alone. If this person
Powerful.
who I looked up to is going through this but they still have a smile on their face, or they're showing me that a bad day is not really all that bad, I'm going to go to my doctor's appointment and I'm going to get through this, because Carol's not alone, I'm not alone. Together, even though she lives in another state, I met so many women who are non-smokers who got lung cancer like myself from all different parts of the world. The furthest I had reached was a lady in Switzerland, African American, young 32-year-old woman with 2 children and a husband who had lung cancer as a non-smoker. We made a connection, we did FaceTime, and I'm telling you, if that chain can spread all the way to Switzerland, you can reach somebody in your own backyard, next door, and even in the next state.
Yeah.
And that chain can spread all over the world, and we
Mhm.
want to be part of helping spread that message. I know Chris said
Yeah.
a lot of people don't want to spread that message. We're here to help spread that message. We try and do it multiple times every year with Chris and really get that out. So Chris, Danielle, thank you
Man,
so much for
Thank
taking the time to
you.
join us.
Roy,
On
can I
behalf,
hit you one thing before I go off? I know I'm on here with you guys. I got to tell you that the White Ribbon Project is an inclusive movement. It says, regardless of your smoking history, this is for you as a survivor.
Mhm.
Regardless of your staging, this place is for you. Regardless of your race, this is for you. Regardless of where you live, this place is for you. Regardless of where you're treated, this place is for you. You deserve a white ribbon. It doesn't. If you're a caregiver, this white ribbon is for you. If you're a primary care doc, social worker, Medon, Radon, whoever, anybody who wants things to move forward, a media person that is my dude. I mean, if you wanted to move forward, we have a ribbon for you. Thank you.
thank you so much.
I'm on the Team Williams hype team.
So thank you for being with us today. I know you're trying to get on a lot of shows and spread that word as widely as possible. On behalf of Caleb Bradham, I'm Roy Kessel, Sports Philanthropy Network, live at Radio Row, Super Bowl 57 in Phoenix. Thank you for joining us. Please remember to live generously.